Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to episode 35 of the phenomenon known to all of mankind as Saturday afternoon's main event. If you somehow, after 35 episodes plus this season, after all of the couple of years that I've been doing this, if you have been tuning in somehow, some way, by God's miraculous intervention, you still do not know who in the blue hell I am, I suggest that you go back to school or go into your local library, get the biggest dictionary you can find, preferably Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the phenomenal one, and here on Saturday afternoon's main event, I am not alone. Because, of course, I have my co-host, my comrade, my brother from another mother and dimension. He is past age, he is past prime, but in the words of his protege, the one and only nature boy, Ric Flair, he's a 60-minute man, baby. Woo! But, guys, without further ado, allow me to introduce to you the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun who is not having a hard time holding his alligators down. Guys, here on Same, give me 2 claps and a peep snatch.
Woo! We are here once again, ladies and gentlemen. A huge wrestling weekend for those that know what we're talking about. We know you're getting ready for your PLEs, you're getting ready for your PPVs. We also know for all those people joining us on Saturdays, for all the uncles out there, for all the mamacitas out there, all those that are out there watching, we got 3 tenants to get you geared up for a great Saturday afternoon. And this, go ahead, drum roll, please. Laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible.
There we go.
There you go.
Peeps. But as we say this, it's funny because I guess my introduction garnered a little bit of attention. Blind Man V2 off of YouTube says, no, just you. It's okay, man.
Yes.
If it's your first time watching Sam, we appreciate you for coming through and enjoying your Saturday afternoon with me and my co-host, of course, the one and only Peep Snatch.
Yes.
So we appreciate you, man. Shout out to you. It's okay. But from now on, if you're tuning in, best believe you better know who the phenomenal one is. But in the words of anything all good, I digress, peeps. That might be the first one of today's show.
There you go.
All right. It's all
That's
right.
number 1. I'm giving it to you. That's number 1.
It's okay.
That gets us to 110 for the year.
110?
110. There you go.
Wow, we did good, peeps. We're doing well.
Yeah.
We're doing well. But look, beyond all things, like peeps said, it's a wrestling weekend. We have Heatwave. We have Forbidden Door. But beyond everything else, this was a pretty crazy week, don't you think, peeps? Yes,
very busy, very opinionated, and a lot of strong opinions. And I think it's one of those days that we've got some rants. We haven't done them in a while, but yeah, I think we have some rants coming today. And for those that have watched the show, yeah, you know where we'll be probably going when you get the lineup of our show today.
Absolutely, peeps. Indeed, indeed. Well, look, beyond all things else, we're going to go ahead and kick into today's show. But before we do that, we just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to everybody watching on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. We appreciate you guys. Go ahead, repost this, reshare it with friends. Go ahead and tell us what you guys think of everything that's going on within wrestling, within pro wrestling, within AEW, WWE, New Japan, for God's sakes, TNA. Let us know what you guys think. You can sound off in the comments. Express your displeasure with anything that you got going on within wrestling, especially WWE, because we're going to get into a lot of that today. But without further ado, peeps, I think it's okay to go ahead and begin today's show. And of course, it's a staple here on Saturday afternoon's main event that when you hear this sound, it's time for one thing and one thing only. This is the part of the show where Peeps Nate braces himself. So, peeps, please, without further ado, brace yourself, because, guys, it is time for
Wrestling Crash Course.
Oh. Never gets old. It never gets old. It's Wrestling Crash Course here today, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, the first piece of news today on WCC will be WrestlePalooza. Peeps! It wouldn't be same without a quick rant about how WWE is pulling a whole bunch of BS. Right?
Yes. Okay. This is a scat shower, if anything. That's for sure.
Not so many who probably lived before me, like the Peeps Nate. Shout out to you.
Yes.
But to anybody that was a fan of professional wrestling during the late 90s, you would be familiar with the name WrestlePalooza. Why? Because it was an ECW staple pay-per-view. Of course, being that WWE owns the rights to ECW, WCW as well, and of course, AAA, you would obviously know that WWE owns the rights to the names of these pay-per-views as well. So what did WWE do? Let's see. They went ahead and counter-programmed AEW All Out, I believe, peeps?
Yes.
And they're going to be scheduling WrestlePalooza in the Gainesbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana on September 20th. So they're bringing the name back. Perfect. Cool. Oh, and may I also add that this will be the first PLE under the ESPN era. No more Peacock PLEs for you, ladies and gentlemen. You know how you got to go ahead and get access to watching this? Oh, one of two ways. Either you go ahead and get yourself a VPN for about $16 a month, put it on your computer, and watch it via Netflix. Or you can go ahead and go to rich route, since WWE thinks our pockets are made out of, shoot, what, peeps? Money counters at this point?
There you go. Everybody must be Scrooge McDuck, apparently.
Look, my name might be Rich, but I'm not Rich, you Rich. Okay? let's just keep it $1.50 here.
There you go.
Beyond all else, you can watch it on ESPN for $30 a month. Damn, that hurts, because being a WWE fan, we all remember $9.99. So yes. How did $9.99 go from $30? Peeps, care to explain this, my friend?
Okay. Basically, what happened, as we explained last week, is that the WWE got into a new deal outside of Peacock to sign on with ESPN for all of their premium live events. And that was supposed to start next year with the Royal Rumble in January. That's what was explained by Triple H, Paul Levesque. And there was a huge media tour. They were all over ESPN's networks. They were all on Disney. They were all over sports TV channels explaining this. And for those that are worrying as far as their pockets are going, as far as how that was going to work, if you had over-the-air terrestrial cable, if you had sort of like I have DirecTV, if you had those kinds of plans and you were paying ESPN through a provider, all you had to do was put in your credentials and you would get access to that. But it wasn't supposed to kick in until January. Here's where the money grubbing part of the WWE comes in. And this is where the TKO aspect is. They decided, well, you know what? Let's get rid of that aspect of it and let's move it away into 3 months early.
Yep.
So now instead of having another 3 or 4 months to take care of that, you have about roughly 26 or so days to do it. And not everybody has that kind of money to spend on streaming because WWE has already fragmented a lot of their programming across different streaming services. So if you're looking at Monday Night Raw, you got Netflix for the minimum of what, $10? The middle tier is like 17 and change. The most expensive tier is 23 and change. So you're paying for that for Netflix and the documentaries therein. Oh, you can't get rid of Peacock now because Clash in Paris, the most recent pay-per-view, the last pay-per-view now, or premium live event that's going to be on Peacock, you still need to have access for that. Oh, wait a minute. By the way, Peacock just went up. So you're locked into an added bonus of paying more for the service for at least another month. But that's where it doesn't end. There's still the WWE library, which is on Peacock. If you want to see that or reruns of SmackDown, you're going to be sticking around with Peacock until they straighten everything out because everybody expected that to be going to Netflix at some point. Okay, whatever. Oh, wait a minute. If you want to go ahead and see Monday Night Raw, we already talked about that. You want to see SmackDown, you got cable, you're going to be watching it on USA. And then now, here we are with your premium live events are going over to another source, which is ESPN, $30 a month if you don't have any cable. This smacks of the greed that the WWE has had for the longest time. And I'll tell you this goes part and parcel as to why you think WWE is going so hardcore on international events.
Yep.
American wrestling overseas always does well, whether it's AEW, whether it's WWE, WCW, when they would run the occasional house shows or they would go on a tour, they would do pretty well. American wrestling always does well overseas. But here's something that you notice, and this is something that I will bring to my partner. Have you noticed that since about after WrestleMania, you don't hear on television, you don't hear Michael Cole or Joe Tessitore on TV talking about how many consecutive sellouts we have?
None of that no more.
Do you hear about how many people are buying up tickets and going to the shows and saying, look at all of these sellouts. Who's all of these sellouts?
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny. SmackDown moving over as far as like their ratings, etc. SmackDown moving to Fox. It's been about a year now, roughly. They've lost
USA, be careful.
The USA Network, yes. Yeah, I'm losing it. Yeah, go figure.
This is what happens with WWE.
Yes, they make you lose your mind. Your mental state starts to go. But this is what happened. Fox to the USA Network, as far as SmackDown moving, they've lost an average of 600,000 viewers. Because remember, SmackDown was on over-the-air terrestrial television.
Yep.
That was, for the most part in the United States, free television. And if you couldn't see that and you really liked SmackDown, you'd have to subscribe to a cable service or get Peacock to be able to see that. That's gone. Also, merchandising, as much as we've talked about, has kind of gone down, which because of one main reason.
Gone down.
To some degree.
Peeps, gone down. What? Gone down? Peeps, I can't even afford another world title.
Yes. Yes.
We went from 500 to 650. What the?
Yes.
What do you mean gone down?
And when I mean gone down, I mean sales. I'm not talking about prices. I'm talking about sales.
Okay, you had me.
Yes.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah. No, we can all attest to the fact that the WWE has turned everything. They went the way of Disney now. Everything is 500 million% above what it should be. When I went to Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago at the Barclays Center, the same championship belt, we talked about this before, the same championship belt that I bought at WrestleMania 20, which was $250 around the time I bought it. It's now $700, $600.
Speaking now.
On the high end, it's $800 to $900. The Money in the Bank briefcases are $150 for a briefcase.
A freaking briefcase?
For a briefcase is $150.
I gotta be able to cash it in on Seth Rollins then if that's what?
Oh, there you go. It's insane. Merchandise percentage-wise from year to year, as much as they've extended how much it costs, is actually down about 18% from this point last year. And the reason why that is not because people are buying it, it's the fact that it's too expensive. WrestlePalooza, you said is in Indianapolis. That's going to be September the 20th, right?
Yep.
How much is it for a front row ticket to go there?
$6,000.
There you go.
Freaking hell! Good God!
The same show that they're putting up to counter program AEW and their all-out pay-per-view, they're going to do there for that exorbitant cost in the front row. Forget about what they're doing for WrestleMania because that's just in and of itself another expense.
Peeps, 70,000 for row one. 70. The Super Bowl this year wasn't even 71.
Yes, there you go. I've got the pen ready. Going ahead. You know you want to get it out. There you go. There you go.
I digress.
My entire soliloquy to that entire deal is an I digress. So there's a third going on that one. It's insane.
Back to back.
It's insane.
Jeez. So look, in all of the cases, what is AEW's thought process to this? Well, Tony Khan said it correctly. I feel that AEW is going in the right direction. All that we can do is focus on what we have to do right now as a company, and I feel that AEW is walking in the right direction. Tony has finally learned something. Tony is just saying, you know what? Screw them. They're putting themselves in their own hole. We'll continue to put out good wrestling. We'll continue to go ahead and make it price absorbent for the fans who want to be able to attend to get their money's worth on professional wrestling. And we'll just let WWE go ahead and run themselves into the ground. Because pretty much we all know WWE is like the NBA compared to the EuroLeague, right? But peeps, when we sit there and we look at it, everything is now starting to become much more price. The fact that I'm saying that in 2025, it is expensive to be a wrestling fan as compared to just having a woman in your life is insane. Peeps. Yeah. How does that happen? Being a wrestling fan is more expensive than being a boyfriend in 2025.
Well, you know what? As you've heard me say before this show, we're in bizarro world.
Bizarro world indeed. Bizarro world indeed. But look, as we continue to let WWE do whatever the hell they think that they're doing correctly, and while they're paying off TKO depth and all of that other beeswax, we're going to go ahead and move into something else here in the world of WWE. The Hulk Hogan autopsy, peeps.
Yes.
Of course, Hulk Hogan has passed away. He's gone up wherever he is right now. We know that his daughter Brooke was alluding to certain things about his health and all these kinds of other things and how she feels about the things and how she feels that he shouldn't be cremated yet. She wanted an autopsy run. She wanted to know everything about her father's death and what caused it. Well, we got the autopsy. And peeps, Hulk Hogan, who is now away from this realm of earth, still couldn't put over the Grim Reaper.
Oh boy.
He still he said that's not gonna work for me, brother. Because Hulk Hogan's death, it seems to be the cause of a medical malpractice. Peeps. What?
Wow. Yeah. It's and the crazier part about this is when the news broke, I actually was watching TMZ live and they were in the middle of one story and they broke into it with his wife going in and saying that he had what was considered his phrenic nerve was compromised. That's about as far as she went. And intimating that there was some sort of a botch by the doctors, the surgeons that did the surgery on him. As we've heard his last weeks, he wasn't really able to speak much. He had lost a lot of weight. He was kind of bedridden. He was home recovering. He would show up at a lot of places before the surgery, and then we know now, based on his health, that his health was really bad. And the only person that seemed to have come out with a lot of that was Bubba the Love Sponge, who we thought was in the outs. And he talked about a lot of the health issues of Hogan publicly. And we looked at it. Exactly. And we looked at it as if, well, you know what? Bubba the Love Sponge, he's just trolling. Well, apparently a lot of the things that he has said have come to fruition through the trickle of information about his health that have come out. I don't know if everything that he's saying is to be believed, because there was also a Bubba the Love Sponge quote that he's blaming Eric Bischoff for Hogan's death to some degree. But I'm digressing on that. That's neither here nor there. I think the bottom line is we're gonna, as news gets out there, we're going to find out probably more as far as the extent of how Hogan passed and what the unfortunate details of his demise were.
Indeed. Well, look, from there, we move to the world of AEW. Peeps, somehow, some way, Mercedes Moné gets another belt. Why should I care? Really, Peeps?
Too bad.
You know what? Just for the fun of it, you know what, guys? I think I have to go ahead and get with Peeps on this one. Okay,
there's your laughs and good times part of the show.
Indeed. But Peeps, a ninth belt for Mercedes Moné after coming off the loss of Storm at AEW All In.
Yes.
Peeps. Okay. Like, this is getting a little too... what's the word that I'm looking for, Peeps?
Transparent. I think it's transparent.
Thank you, Peeps. Thank you.
We see now, what AEW seems to be using Mercedes Moné for.
Like a watered down belt collector? Like what are we doing here?
Yes. This is not Austin Aries. This is not Kenny Omega. This is not Kazuchika Okada. This isn't Kurt Angle. And this is, even on a smaller scale, Ultimo Dragon. When you remember he was walking around with 17 belts all over his shoulder and his back and his legs, and he was covered in championship belts. They're trying to do the belt collector angle. They're using that as a reason to sell tickets and other promotions that she visits and bringing the attention back to AEW. The problem is, as we've stated, and even our co-host Christopher Morton, Mr. 411 has brought up, nobody really cares about it because AEW has done very little to make you care about it.
Indeed.
That's the problem.
Indeed.
And the one belt that she went after, that she tried to win, that she didn't win, is the AEW World Championship. And that's the problem.
Now, Peeps, exactly. Now, you remember what we thought about? We were like, well, you know what? It would be cool if they ran an angle where after she lost to Toni Storm, that sends her career into a tailspin where she begins to lose all the belts. And then a comeback story.
Yes.
Now Mercedes is out here trying to get retribution for the sense of fans thinking, okay, this win has completely ruined her momentum. She's completely out of the mix. She is no longer a care into the world because she couldn't defeat Toni Storm.
Yes.
And now she begins to lose all the belts. But now, once she begins to come back, she wants retribution from Toni. So what do? You begin to build back Mercedes Moné from the ground up, not having her just start winning belts, but instead just start racking up wins. Up wins. Up until the point that she finally gets to be the number one contender to Toni Storm's title again. And then what happens? Mercedes Moné beats Toni Storm. Now you have her as AEW Women's World Champion. And now you can have her on a pedestal, on the company, sitting there, claiming to be the best women's wrestler walking God's green earth, and the fans will care.
Yes. As gifted and talented as a wrestler that she is, and there are people that will honestly say she's probably one of the top 5 women's talents out there in the wrestling business. That's debatable, but she is really, really good. The issue is the way that they have portrayed her, the way that they have marketed her. It's only up to a point. They have to be able to get her to break through the issue that's keeping anyone from caring about having 9 championships, especially from promotions that, true, I've watched and seen, but the average wrestling fan has no idea what Rev Pro is. I've seen Rev Pro. They're out in Europe. I've seen a lot of the talent, as we've seen Walter wrestled there and Ospreay wrestled there. And we've seen, but they've done nothing to promote it in the States. The WWE, for obvious reasons, owning AAA, has done a better job in marketing what AAA is for those that may have never seen it. I mean, by making you care about the promotion.
I mean, peeps, to be quite frank, WWE is the machine. So, I mean, whatever they go ahead and push out, if they want to push it out and promote it, it will be shown to fans. Like, let's keep it $150. Yeah. I feel like AEW can also be a machine to itself, considering the fact that Shad Khan is literally made out of billion-dollar bills.
Yes.
But it's like nothing is cutting it. That's the problem. AEW can be a machine. AEW can be a powerhouse, especially with the stars that they have in the company. But it's just that certain sense of promotion isn't fully up to par yet. And I feel like that's where they struggle. That's where there is a sense of an engagement that needs to be publicized, that needs to be put on a pedestal more, that needs more attention to detail. If we get that, I feel that AEW would be in a better position to ostracize Mercedes Moné to the degree that we know she should be ostracized. Because having 9 belts doesn't make me obviously care. I sit there and I'm like, oh, 9 belts, Moné, okay, cool, CEO, whatever, cool, okay.
And the average fan will say, she's got 9 belts, but is she the AEW World Champion? And that's where it's gonna. But that's where it will
immediately. That's what I'm saying. So she comes off that staggering loss at pretty much their WrestleMania of the year, and somehow, some way, she continues to just keep gaining momentum to just win other belts in other companies. That's the stupidity that I'm not understanding, and that's what I feel they need to work on. But beyond other senses of stupidity when it comes to AEW, I feel that we can go ahead and speak on this as well. Will Ospreay will be wrestling this weekend at Forbidden Door amid his neck injury. Peeps, the man has neck problems. Yes. He stated that after Forbidden Door, he's going to go away for a few to go ahead and get neck surgery. Why in the blue hell is he going to be wrestling to begin with?
Why
are they letting him wrestle?
Yeah. What do you think? And then I'll give you my response on that.
Okay. Beyond everything else, we know that everybody suffers with certain things differently. We know that, look, certain individuals will sit there and be like, look, I feel that I can go, I'm going to go. Understandable. Cool, no problem. Look, I've seen Cody Rhodes wrestle with a torn pec. Ain't nobody going to tell me nothing about, oh, you know what? I don't feel like I can wrestle. Because if your body tells you that you can, and you feel like, you know what, to hell with it, I'm going to wrestle, then cool. I feel like Ospreay's dedicated to his craft, which is understandable. Ospreay, of course, highly regarded as probably one of the best professional wrestlers to date within this decade, within the end of last decade. And he's certainly making a sense of that moniker. But peeps, when it comes down to health issues, when it comes down to neck issues as well, we have seen many professional wrestlers go down in senses where they can't go no more. I sat there and I looked at Cody Rhodes with a torn pec. When it was explained to me that it was a torn pectoral muscle, completely off the bone, right?
Yes.
And we heard this and we're like, okay, well, why is he going to wrestle? What was said? They said he couldn't do any more damage to it. It's not like if he continues, he's going to lose more mobility. But of course, after he does it, he has to go ahead and get surgery for it. And that'll be it. Right? That's
what it was all about pain tolerance.
Pain tolerance. Genuinely. And Cody said, you know what? To hell with it. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take the pain. Fine, no problem. You want to do that? Cool. Peeps, I know you and I, we both cringed for that Hell in a Cell match, did we not?
Yes. Yes.
Because we sat there and were like, how stupid can you possibly be? But, Peeps, this is a neck we're talking about.
Yes.
A neck. Big E can't wrestle no more.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to your neck, spinal cords and pinched nerves and all these different types of other things that run down your back, how many other wrestlers have we seen been taken out of actions because of the nerves that go ahead and connect from your neck to your peripheral back to your spine and all that kind of other good stuff?
Yes.
Wasn't Shawn Michaels taking painkillers in the late 90s for a broken back?
Yeah.
Didn't he still have that problem? And
He's still, as a matter of fact, going into Shawn Michaels just is going to have double knee replacement at some point. But he also just recently had, I believe, the rods that were in his back removed.
Exactly.
Because of that. So, yeah.
So, that we're talking 30 years, right? Literally almost 30 years of the same issue.
Yes.
Kurt Angle. What is his moniker again, peeps? I won an Olympic gold medal with a broken
freaking neck. Exactly.
It was that same broken neck that would go ahead and get broken again at the hands of Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
And then further down the line, this man literally went into a spiral because of painkillers.
Yes. Because of that, we got, instead of Kurt Angle, we got Perk Angle, who was, even with what he was on, was still a beast in the ring.
He's calmed down. Wrestling fans changed the moniker from Perk to Peak.
Yes.
Kurt says he doesn't like Perk no more.
Yes.
But you see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it's like, for me, I just care about the well-being of Will Ospreay because, of course, we want to continue to see great matches out of him.
Yes.
We want to continue to see greatness out of Will Ospreay. But if he's going to be wrestling with a broken neck or like neck issues,
yes.
What happens if something goes wrong? God forbid.
He stated in the promo that he cut on Wednesday that he's scared because he knows he has to go under the knife. And he knows that the surgery that he has to do will probably change his career forever. He said that himself during the promo.
But is it wrestling going to change it forever too if he goes into a match and something happens?
Exactly. And see, here's the thing. AEW has an injury issue. And they just came off of an injury issue last year, only to get back into it. And I just jotted down just for a little prosperity of some of the guys that have been injured just within the last 6 months. Colton Gunn, who we remember came back with the Guns just at All In, only for him to be re-injured. So he's gone for now. Adam Cole, who may potentially have to retire because of his concussion issues, because we think that that's what the injury was with that. Jay White, he's probably done until next year. Swerve is now wrestling with a torn meniscus in his knee. So we know he's been wrestling injured for some time. Kenny Omega, that goes without saying, the star of the company, and he's been in and out after being off of TV for some almost 2 years. They have a huge issue with the stars of the company coming down with these injuries that will really kind of contaminate how they promote and do their storylines and their in-ring work and constructing matches for these pay-per-views and for their television. So they have to get that under wraps somehow. They have to monitor this as carefully as they can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree as well, Peeps. But look, moving from there, we move to the world of WWE/AAA. And this is for mainly Uncle Triple C, because I feel like he's going to agree with us wholeheartedly. This boy, my boy, our boy, the scumbag himself, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, was robbed. I said it.
Yes. There you go.
I know we all watched Triple Mania.
Yes.
I know we all sat there and thought that this was going to be a shining crowning moment for Dominic Mysterio and his father in attendance.
Yes.
Somehow, some way, AJ Styles, the man of the hour, is now wanted by the Mexican cartel.
There you go. There you go.
You see, I didn't even have to wait too long. Uncle Triple C. AJ is a horrible person. Dominic Mysterio is not only the greatest IC champ of all time, he will become the AAA heavyweight champion, making him a representative of 2 countries. My boy!
What a champion.
What a champion. But peeps, we now know that he's going to go ahead and get a rematch against Hijo del Vikingo.
Yes.
Peeps, do we see Dominic Mysterio becoming the AAA Mega Champion by chance?
I think so, mostly because Worlds Collide is going to be in Las Vegas.
Indeed.
And I think that being the main event of the show, I think that that's where they're headed. And in all reality, it helps not only himself out, it helps WWE out, it helps the brand out, it helps AAA out, and even more so.
Ooh.
The fans who cannot stand Vikingo just because he beat Alberto El Patron. Just because of that reason, the man is absolutely radioactive. So if they get the belt off of him and they put it on Dom, they eliminate 2 woes.
Exactly.
One, the fact that Dominic is right now a star in the making. He's already a star, but his star is shining even brighter. They can use that with all of the conflict that's going on with the Judgment Day, and then they also have a new face of AAA, all in one swoop.
Absolutely. Well, peeps, from there, we move to something else.
Okay.
Chris Jericho. Guys, the Ayatollah of rock and roller, the Lionheart himself. Peeps, we haven't heard about Chris Jericho in a long time.
No, we haven't. As a matter of
He
fact,
hasn't been on our television screens either.
it's been about 4 months. Hi, guys. Yeah, I think it's been about 4 months or so since he kind of walked off of AEW TV.
Yeah. And now there's rumblings that because his AEW contract will be up soon, that WWE is calling.
Yes.
Chris Jericho and WWE in 2025. What the hell are we doing? Peeps.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Like, genuinely, what are we doing here?
Wouldn't it be interesting from what we have gleaned on social media? I believe his contract is up in December. What happens if he shows up at the Royal Rumble
in Saudi?
And what happens if they do another season of Unreal and this gets documented on there?
Listen, that would be cool, but peeps, Chris Jericho on my television screen looking the way he is in 2025. It's not right. I'm sorry.
I understand.
Like, if you're searching for a comedic factor just to sell more list of Jerichos, then cool, fine by me. Of course, WWE's just trying to find a way to make shit marketable. So fine, go ahead. But if you're telling me Chris Jericho wrestling in 2025, I don't want it. No, Chris. You know, I'm gonna channel my inner Michael Jackson to Chris Tucker. Chris, don't do that to yourself. Chris. Like,
there you go.
It's
not like Jericho still can't wrestle. The problem is Jericho wrestling now in the capacity that he was wrestling was not needed. You can have him as a legend. You can have him come out and showcase him in certain aspects. You can give the fans spoonfuls of Le Champion. The thing is, the learning tree and all the other stuff, who, by the way, Jericho has always been a master at rebranding and refocusing himself in his career and also reintroducing and reinvigorating himself in many different ways.
Indeed.
But I think the break that he has had from AEW television, I think, has made fans kind of appreciate Jericho more, in the sense that now that he's potentially on the tail end of the career, he's closer to the end of his career than he was to the beginning. I think that's what fans are looking at.
So I mean, what? Just another farewell tour for WWE to make profit off? Like, is that what we're doing?
Maybe. I mean, Jericho was what, 52, 53?
Yeah. So I mean, look, I mean, 1 year deal, get it out the works. You want to do a farewell tour, do that, and get it over with.
Mostly to get him in the Hall of Fame. I think that's what would be the case.
That and also probably putting him under a Legends deal just to go ahead and continue to make profit off of it.
Yes.
I promise you that's the only case. Corey Richmond says this. He's like, I think it's going to be hilarious that the same WWE fans that shitted on him as going old and fat are going to cheer him. Who said I was going to cheer Chris Jericho? I'm sorry. Look, keeping it $150, like I said, Chris Jericho on my television screen in 2025 isn't like what? Like I'm past the days of Peeps, you got a problem with me? Guess what? You just made the list.
There you go.
I'm past that. I'm past that.
Yes.
Like I'm 22. I'm closer to my careers than I am the middle school. I'm past that. Like I'm not a kid anymore. Like this isn't the same Chris Jericho. Okay.
Yes.
This is a Chris Jericho that has gained pounds.
Yes.
Chris Jericho that looks like he's literally flubbered. He looks like a crab without the shell. Like what are we doing here? Once again, I digress.
So there you go.
Peeps, not a last part of Wrestling Crash Course before we get to the ratings. This is your gripe, Bret Hart.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Take it away, Peeps.
Okay. The only reason why we brought this up is because I brought this to my partner a couple days ago. These were comments that were made within the last week or so about Bret Hart talking about mostly Hogan and other wrestlers that have kind of gotten in his way, but also wrestlers that he looks at and he thinks are lazy, throwing out basically damaging the reputation of anybody that uses chops. And the one person that seemed to have gotten in his eyes of his direction of his snipes was one Walter.
And we know how
now,
much about Walter.
Yes. Now, for context, Bret Hart has always been a curmudgeon, shaking his fist at the cloud, but also he is very hypocritical in the sense that he toots his own horn a little bit too much.
Yep.
Should he? Of course, because he was a legend, because he was great. And his whole idea behind the rant was that you should be safe. Where I take exception is that he alluded to the fact that Walter is a lazy wrestler. Oh, I've got smoke for that comment. I'm going to give you a snippet of what he said. Quote, the best wrestling has to, this is Bret Hart having his the conversation on this podcast. The best wrestling has to pretend to be real, which is what I did. I tried to make it as real as I could, contrary to that Walter guy. I'm obviously, me and my Walter name.
Yeah. Who
seems to be a nice guy when I met him. But I have wrestlers that hurt each other on purpose. I hate wrestlers that hurt themselves on purpose. I hate it when you're out there and getting beat up and hurt by a guy for real. Like chops. Whoever want to fight with a chop? I'm going to give you some examples of that, but I'm going to go on. What a waste of time. Ric Flair is famous for bringing the chops the way they are now. My dad used to tell wrestlers that Stampede, nobody ever beat anyone with a chop. I'm going to dispute that one also. It's true. They hurt. They look like crap. They make a slap sound, but they hurt. When you get chopped by someone like Ric Flair for a 30-minute match and he chops you 15 times, your whole chest the next day is bruises. It hurts to put on a shirt. I used to wrestle Flair and wake up going, why am I hurting so much? Doesn't Flair know that it's a show? It's not supposed to be real. I'm not supposed to wake up with a really sore chest. I have no respect for guys that hurt each other all the time. It's just me. Lazy wrestling. When guys like Walter, I told him to his face, it's BS. When you're hurting someone for real, you're unprofessional. I wrestled guys and never hurt anybody. Okay, that's a lot to unpack.
Indeed.
First thing I'm going to say is I've noticed the hypocrisy of that entire rundown of comments about how wrestling chops. We know how he feels about the chops, and the good parts of what he was saying is that he made wrestlers. He was very safe. He's also very snug. He got in the ring. You saw what he did, and that's how he was. No problem with that. But that part of the comment. The lazy aspect of it is, and here's where the hypocrisy comes in. He said that chops are lazy. Ric Flair himself said this years ago. The main reason why he went to chops was that he had a fear of breaking his hand using punches all the time. So he started using the knife edge chops as part of his offense, not all of his offense. So that part is going to get debunked. Now, over the last few years, we've seen a lot of people overuse chops the same way that people overuse super kicks, like the Bucks, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Bret Hart trained in what dungeon?
The Hart Dungeon.
The Hart Family Dungeon. Do you know the 3 prominent wrestlers that wrestled in that dungeon that came from that dungeon were, outside of all of the Harts, Brian Pillman, Chris Benoit, and Chris Jericho. 3 guys who used chops as parts of their offense. Did you ever hear of anybody in ring being injured by any of those 3 guys that I just told you?
No.
Also, the whole entire thing with Stu Hart or whatever, did anybody use a chop to finish a match? I'll tell you who. Wahoo McDaniel. Wahoo McDaniel's finishing move would throw you to the ropes after he beats you up and hit you with a huge knife edge chop and pin you. So that's something else there. My problem with Bret Hart has always been he is still sore and upset over the fact that his career ended prematurely and not on his own terms by that kick from Goldberg, which he has literally tortured Goldberg over the last 30 years since it's happened. And continues to now use that and bleed it into all the bitterness and all the things that he's gone through and dumped it in the lap of other wrestlers and dumped it in the laps of other fans. And although I do agree with certain aspects of Bret Hart's assertion, to be able to call Walter lazy is one of the most egregious comments I think I have ever heard.
Egregious is an understatement, because at the end of the
without question,
at the end of the day, Bret Hart, all of this bitching and complaining and moaning, when do you give it up? You know, it's funny because Peeps had said something. I don't know if he was gonna say this in today's show, but when I was on the phone with him and I was talking to him about this, Peeps went ahead and said the man got black poom poom in chains forever. I indeed believe that case. Bret got with his sister and immediately thought he was a Negro. Bret thinks it's easy to just go ahead and sit there and complain and gag about everything that's going on.
There you go.
What are we doing? But at this case, we heard, I don't know if you heard about the SummerSlam comments. Oh, they called me to get here. I came. They told me they had seats for me. They brought me out to the floor. Then they said they had nothing. I don't think they appreciate me. Oh, Bill Goldberg's cutoff time. Oh, I don't care. I probably cut him off 10 minutes prior to that. Now it's Walter. What's next? What's next? Is he gonna shoot on Taker? Should I be afraid, Peeps? Like, should I be afraid for the next things that come out of Bret Hart's mouth on a podcast? I don't think so. Because now I've seen it all with Bret.
Bret is right now, as I've said before, I love Bret Hart's in-ring career. I love 99% of the matches that he's had, the tag team championships that he's won, everything about his in-ring career. This current iteration of Bret outside of the ring, where he goes out and starts dumping on folks, it's petty, but like I said, at the same time, he's going after people for the wrong thing. But I digress on that one.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, with that being said, that marks the end of Wrestling Crash Course. You want to keep up with the latest social media news and updates? All you got to do is one thing only. Follow us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons _ main event, Twitter at Saturday Main, and of course, TikTok at Saturday Afternoons ME. Now, look, peeps, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get to that part of the show with our ratings before we go to a quick break. So please give us the ratings, peeps.
Okay, quickly, the ratings. NXT won the week over AEW Dynamite, with NXT getting 675,000 viewers with a 0.15 in the demo, whereas AEW Dynamite did 565,000 with a 0.16 in the demo. I want you to think about that. After we talked about the last couple of weeks, they were at 700 and change, and they got to 6 and change in the last couple of weeks. For their go-home Dynamite, to do 565,000 going into the pay-per-view on Sunday. That's not good.
Indeed not. Indeed not. And I thought with the jumps that they were having for the last couple of weeks, even though there were certain digresses there, here and there, you would think that the Go Home Show would be going ahead and pulling in a good number. But that's damn. I guess television is just dying, peeps. And this at this point,
well, WWE is helping add to that. Everything is dispersed on 15 different streaming services. Yeah.
You know what? It would be cool if somebody can make an inference as to why television is dying. I guess WWE is just killing television at this point for professional wrestling. If that's the inference that we're making, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's funny because somebody here named Max Clay off of YouTube, shout out to you. He says, replace the current WWE creative team with Vince Russo, Stevie Richards, and Maven. That's a pretty unique bunch there, buddy.
Maven, Steven Richards. I go with the Steven Richards one. Vince Russo will never get that from me, bro. Not from me, bro.
Never. Vince Russo.
Yeah.
Vince Russo, the same one that kind of went ahead and pulled the story of Marlena having a baby and somehow she lost.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Enough said.
Enough said. But with that being said, that marks the end of the ratings here, ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday afternoon's main event. We're going to go into a quick break. We might have a little overrun here because once we come back, we're going to have our questions. And then, of course, the last piece of today's show, our predictions for Heatwave and Forbidden Doors. So look, guys, stay tuned. Do not go anywhere because the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event is coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half of Same. Of course, it is out of Phenomenal One. Alongside me is my co-host, the Peep Snake. We're here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. Of course, we are at the part of our show now where we get into the questions. Guys, we love these questions. We love you guys sending them in. We know you guys enjoy them too. So look, if you want to be a part of the action and you want to know how to send in the question, all you got to do is one thing and one thing only. DM us on Instagram at Saturday afternoons _main event. It's right above me, ladies and gentlemen. DM us there, send in the question, and in the words of the wrestling god, WWE Hall of Famer JBL, I guarantee it will be on the next episode of the show. With that being said, Pete, the first one comes from Master Sean 007. He says, greetings, gentlemen. What leverage would AEW have once they have to negotiate a new TV deal, since WWE seems to have every network and streaming device locked up? Service, I mean. Peeps. The leverage? What other leverage do you need? Peeps, look at all the wrestlers that AEW has on that roster. Look at it. Do you have to go too far? Edge, Lashley, MJF, Adam Page, Moxley, Athena.
Maybe not so much Moxley.
No. He's not spewing hepatitis B and C and Z all over the damn league. Okay? Maybe not. But then again, you look at all these guys. Kyle Fletcher, who, for me right now, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him as the face of AEW in about 2 to 3 years. Konosuke Takeshita, who just won the G1 climax and is about to probably be the face of Japan, even while he's still signed to AEW. Look at all these names that I just gave out. That's only just a bit of what AEW has, and that doesn't even scratch the surface. They have wrestlers. They have good wrestling at times. So what do they have to do? Just play the machine. If promotion is going well, if they can promote, peeps, I believe that they have the leverage to go ahead and get a new TV deal. Do you agree with me?
Yes, and that's been their problem for the last 6 years, is that they do not promote their company better. There are very few, obviously there are commercials for the show. There sometimes, if you're watching, looking at SmackDown or when Raw was on TV, you would see the occasional Dynamite commercial. That's, they're paying for advertising on the show to showcase their company. But you don't see anywhere near the amount of promotion for AEW. They started initially by doing that. They had their own video game. They were doing the t-shirt sales. They were doing some merchandising and getting things going. But other than that, they haven't really done a whole lot more other than we're AEW, we're not the WWE. Vince McMahon is the devil. Well, Vince McMahon is not the WWE anymore.
Indeed.
A lot of his DNA, pun intended, is in the WWE. But at the same time, we know what WWE is doing now. They're on a TKO, media blitz, absorb everything, and become the machine. Whereas AEW right now is the little engine that could, the way that they promote their show. What they have outside of the talent is the cost. If they can advertise that fact that they are much more affordable to be able to take a family out and enjoy yourselves with, oh, wait a minute, now we're here. Look at all of these really big stars that you have. Look at all of the matches that we're having. Look at the production values, which are starting to, they're upping. Camera work is getting better. All of those things. You start to leverage that against what WWE is doing. Are you going to surpass WWE? No. But you can take a little bit of a chunk out of what they're doing and then provide to the rest of the wrestling fans out there that this is what we're doing. And we have just as much of a reason to be here and exist than anything else.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, look, Master Son 007, we appreciate you for that one. Hot Rod 316 with the next one. This was from last week's show, but of course, I guess he got lost in the island of relevancy. But it's okay, because look, we're here today. We can go ahead and cover this. He said, who would you like to see John Cena's last opponent be? And would you be surprised if WWE put SNME up against AEW World's End? That would be a shocker, I know. Well, of course, we know now that Saturday night's main event will be hailing from Boston.
Yeah, I think it's from the TD Gardens. I think.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed. And it will be about a week to 2 weeks before World's End.
Yes, because initially there were rumors that it was going to go up against World's End. But thank goodness they thought against.
And when you say who would you like to see John's last opponent be? You know, if it was up to me, and somehow, some way, wrestlers and professional wrestling companies work together and people can go on loans to certain places, it would have been Edge. For me, it would have been Edge. I genuinely feel like the call to an end of a career like John Cena's only means that he goes down by facing one of his old rivals. And I feel like, peeps, I don't know if you get where I'm going here. The only reason I feel like it should be Edge is Edge still needs retribution. Are you remembering Unforgiven?
Yes.
Air Canada Center.
Yes.
TLC match for the WWE title. John Cena went ahead and beat this man fair and square in his hometown. Cool match, by the way. Still go back to watch it.
Yes.
That would be my selling point for the whole story. Genuinely, that would be my selling point. It would be Edge coming back, Edge saying, you know what? One more time for old time's sake, because I feel like that loss is still playing in the back of my mind. And what better way than to send you off packing than by beating you in your hometown and getting that last win that I feel like can close the chapter on our stories forever.
Yes.
Done. Peace.
That works.
That would be perfect. But when you
That
tell
works.
me now who would his last opponent be, I genuinely can't think. I don't know who. What Gunther? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we? I don't know.
Only for the sake of symmetry, I would say AJ Styles. And the reason why I say that is Undertaker's last match was against AJ Styles. Even though it was a cinematic match, it was still his last in-ring match. AJ Styles is currently embroiled with a feud with Dominic Mysterio.
My boy! Let me stop.
Yes, what a champion. By the time we get to December, and we can recall how great of a feud AJ and John Cena was over the WWE Championship. They could capture lightning in a bottle one last time and have AJ put on one of those matches with John Cena. Because it could either be him, it could be Cody. I don't think that would be the case, not on a Saturday night's main event. But also at the same time, they could maybe run the gamut and do one of those. Would a Roman Reigns work as a final match to finally say this is it, the last of this generation, going up against the guy that I, for the most part, pushed into the next generation? Who knows? But I think AJ Styles selfishly would be a pretty good run there.
All right. That's not bad, peeps. That's not bad. Well, Hot Rod 316, we hope we answered your question to the best of our abilities. Last one comes from Long Island Isaiah here on the sending questions. He says, so I guess Big Jim gave Naomi the Slim Jim and proceeded to be like R-Truth because they'll now have a little Jimmy.
That was good. That was good alliteration. I like that. That was good.
Perfect alliteration. Wow, that was great. But yeah, shout out to Naomi who was pregnant.
Yes.
I guess Big Jim didn't proceed with caution with the condoms. But hey, it's okay. That's married life for you. So congratulations to them. Of course, you relinquished the title. Hope to see Stephanie Vaquer win the title sooner or later down the line, possibly at Clash in Paris. But look, that marks the end of that. We have one send-in comment here from Jadinator. He says, to be honest, this is my question for today. If Chris Jericho goes back to WWE, who do you think he should face first? I think he will 100% put over LA Knight in an entertaining rivalry. LA Knight is a great choice. I kind of like this, peeps. You know,
that is.
I genuinely would have said Kevin Owens, but being that he's injured, I kind of have to, sit there and take the piss on that one. But LA Knight, I like that. Genuinely, I like that one. I'd say the same. Peeps, do you
That's
agree?
not bad. That's definitely not a bad choice. And when Jericho, if he does go, is he a face or is he a heel? And that's the thing, depending on how you slot him in.
Depending. But with that being said, that marks the end of the questions here, guys, on Saturday afternoon's main event. We appreciated these questions. We enjoyed them. You want to send in more? Remember, one thing and one thing only. It's right above me. DM me at Instagram. Send it in at Saturday afternoons _main event, and it'll be on the next episode of the show. Peeps, we have finally reached that part to our show where we will go ahead and take matters into our own hands.
We got the Tony Khan overrun. Did our producer gave us? There we go.
Yes, Tony Khan overrun indeed. He cleared it. Well, look, with that being said, guys, we have these predictions to go ahead and get into Heatwave Forbidden Door. Peeps, we're going to go ahead and cover Heatwave first. We're going to go ahead and try to run through these ASAP. Look, we're going to go ahead and get started with the first one here. It is Jordan Grace versus Blake Monroe. Peeps, give me Blake. We know how this goes. Mariah May goes ahead and gets her first singles win. I can appreciate that. Genuinely.
Yes.
You're agreeing on that too? Okay.
I'm agreeing with that also because this is going to be her first major match on a premium live event. So yeah.
Okay. Tag team match for the NXT tag titles. Hank and Tank versus two members of Dark State. And it could be either one of those four. For me, if I'm thinking, I would say Deion Lennox and Shaquan Sugars. Because look, Shaquan Sugars, he started to grow on me, peeps. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I have to go ahead and say the amount of alludances to explicit interpretation that they do, and they go ahead and make it funny somehow. It reminds me so much of Kurt Angle once he went ahead and went to SmackDown as a wrestling machine. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I enjoy it. But for me, if I'm thinking, give me Dark State to win this match.
Yeah, I think so. To give more legitimacy to the tag team. I mean, it's 4 and 5 guys doing what they've been doing. Yeah. And Hank and Tank, as much as the fans love them, it's not a long-lived tag team title reign. So I would not be surprised if they use Dark State and then they go ahead and they continue on with the tag team division. So I think that's what's happening here.
All right, perfect. The triple threat match for the TNA Knockouts World title, of course, the champion JC Jane versus Masha Slamovich versus Ash by Elegance, of course, known by many of us WWE fans back in last decade as Dana Brooke. Peace. JC Jane retains. Are we really going to go there? Like, hey, come on now.
Yes, JC's winning. And I think that the whole idea that they're playing off of, she's the most beatable women's champion in NXT history. I think that plays into the mindset of every match she goes into, and then she continues to win. So that's where they're going with this.
I agree. But next, the triple threat match for the NXT Women's Champion, for the number one contender for the NXT Women's title. Of course, Lola Vice versus Kalani Jordan versus my personal favorite, hey, Miss Parker. Jada Parker, of course. Peeps, give me Jada. Do I have to go there? Like, come on.
Yes. You better recognize her, or else something's going to happen to you. She'll find you.
Who said I didn't want to recognize it to begin with? It's Miss Parker.
There you go. There you go.
But
although I tell you this though, Kalani Jordan has continued to improve over the last 6 months to a year. Yep. When she eventually goes to the main roster, I believe she's got you're looking at a star right there.
I agree. Now, peeps, the next match, the mixed tag team match, Chelsea Green and Ethan Page versus Tyra May Steele and Tavion Heights. I don't know. This might be my bathroom break match, indeed. I don't know how I'm feeling about this, but you know what? When it comes down to predictions, give me Tyra May Steele and Tavion Heights to win this.
And there you're going with the same thing I'm going through. Because I think that the way that, because it's a tag match, they're building, especially Tavion Heights, the way that they've been building him, that's where I think this is going.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. Okay, then say no more. Last but not least, peeps, I think this is where we might be divided. The singles match for the NXT Championship. Yes. The one man himself, high flyer Javon Evans versus the champion, the ruler of NXT.
Give me your arm. Give me your arm. Me break your arm. Give me your arm.
As much as I sit there and say this might be the crowning moment for Javon Evans. Give me Javon Evans to win the NXT title. I said it.
You know, as much as I love the fact that how they've been building Javon Evans, and it's been a slow build, there's something that will not release me from continuing to go with Oba. It's just something there. And even though I think that eventually they will put this belt on Javon Evans, I'm still thinking Oba.
Still thinking Oba.
I'm still thinking Oba.
You would be divided on this one. I knew it would happen. But it's okay. It's okay. But with that being said, that marks the end of our predictions for Heatwave. Peeps, I think now's the perfect time to go ahead and get into the next one just so we can lead off to the end of this show. So, peeps, Forbidden Door 2025, hailing in London, England, O2 Arena. Perfect stage for a perfect card.
Yes.
Peeps, of course, the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Darby Allin, Tanahashi, Ospreay versus the Death Riders and the Young Bucks and Gabe in a lights
and in a cage, no less.
Expect carnage, expect blood, expect hepatitis C, expect it all. I'm even expecting skewers being punched into Moxley's head. Get $1.50. I'm just
syringes and cinder blocks and chairs. Oh my. Yeah, that's exactly. Yes, there you go.
We sit there and think, peeps, after hearing Moxley's reaction to hearing that the group had Tanahashi, that shit still kills me. Tanahashi. They got Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yes.
Tanahashi.
Oh well, we're screwed now.
Look, give me the Golden Lovers. Tanahashi, Allen, and Ospreay. Okay, that's how I'm going.
Yes, but I think there's going to be an angle somewhere, maybe on Ospreay, as the match ends, to kind of write either him or Swerve in the match. Somebody's going to get hurt because of the setup of the way the match is.
I agree. Peeps, three-way tag team elimination match for the AEW World Tag Titles. Brodito, FTR, and the Hurt Syndicate. Peeps.
I've been really enjoying Brodito as a tag team.
I have too.
Yes, and you know how much I mark out for Bandito. So
absolutely.
Yes.
But peeps, I'm keeping it $1.50 here. Do I have to go ahead and pick and choose? Peeps, I think you already know. Quote, we hurt people.
There you go.
The Hurt Syndicate. Give me the Hurt Syndicate.
Hurt Syndicate there is, and that's what you got from me also, because
absolutely
there is nothing on the table that says that they're going to lose the belts unless they do decide to go with FTR, and then how do you explain that?
Exactly. But peeps, the singles match for the AEW Unified titles. Of course, Swerve versus Kaz Okada. I'm going to enjoy this match. This is my highlight for, probably like, a good match of the year candidate. I think they're gonna go ahead and put on a show.
Yes.
But give me Kaz Okada to retain.
Yes. Okada, I think they're continuing on this run with this unified title. I think what they're doing is they're waiting until they can get back to Kenny Omega. So I think that's what's happening here. And like we said before, Swerve is wrestling hurt. So I don't see him winning. So I think this goes to Okada.
Peeps, the singles match for the AEW Women's Championship. Of course, Athena is cashing in her Casino Gauntlet contract to face the champion, Timeless Toni Storm. And indeed, in a match that I've been hoping to see for so long, this will be timeless.
Yes.
Because Timeless Toni Storm will retain the AEW Women's title.
As much as I've talked over the last 3 years, it's been criminal that Athena has not had more TV time on AEW television. As much as they've done with this feud, I don't see Athena winning. As much as I would love to go ahead and say that, I have a feeling that it's just going to be Timeless Toni Storm.
Absolutely. All right, then, peeps. Well, look, the four-way match for the AEW TBS title, Bozilla, Parasiphone, Alex Windsor, and, of course, the champion.
Windsor! Yeah. Yes, Miss Osprey, if you will.
Indeed.
There you go.
The peeps. Of course, the champion is going to retain.
Yes.
Nine-Belt Monet will continue to reign strong. That's just
Monet, bro. There you go.
But that being said, singles match, AEW TNT title. Hiromu Takahashi versus the one and only Kyle Fletcher. Give me Kyle Fletcher to retain the title.
Fletcher will win this one. Yes.
Indeed. But peeps, this match, I'm kind of looking forward to this one as well.
Yes.
Nigel McGuinness is challenging for the IWGP World Heavyweight title.
This match is going to steal the show. This match is going to steal the show.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Zack Sabre Jr. for the win.
Yes. And I have been a fan of Zack Sabre Jr. for the longest time. The problem is, and a lot of people look at that as he's too thin. He doesn't have the mass on him as far as the physique. You know what? Damn it to hell. He's still a damn good wrestler. And to have Nigel McGuinness back in the ring again, I'm there. I'm there
for it too, peeps. But look, before we get to the 8th match, we're going to get to the 9th match.
Yes.
5-second pause for me, peeps, because Edge Christian is back. Let me stop. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus the Matriarchy. Of course, peeps, give me Adam Copeland and Christian Cage.
Yes.
I'm liking this. I'm really liking this. The way that they're transcending with this, bringing back the tag team, still not openly ended brochachos.
Yes.
But they're common enemies with common enemies.
Yes.
So one will take care of the other person's problems. I'm liking that. That is a good storyline to go into this, to kind of go back to Adam Copeland and Christian Cage being on the same page. So I'm liking it. Give me Adam Copeland and Christian Cage to win the match.
Yes. And then, of course, you got to remember, it's going to probably be quite violent, too, which is not a bad thing also.
Never is. It never is. But peeps, of course, the final match. Hangman Adam Page, the champion, going up against MJF for the AEW World title. And if Hangman is counted out or disqualified, he will lose the AEW Championship. Peeps, in what will probably be a slobber knocker of a fest, expect to see a lot, but peeps, the champion reigns. Hangman Adam Page will retain the AEW World title.
Yes. And I would not be surprised if the Hurt Syndicate had something to say about this. To kind of to remind MJF of who he got into bed with, so to speak.
Talk about it. Talk about it. But as we say goodbye to these predictions, we unfortunately have to say goodbye to you guys, the fans, because this marks the end of Saturday afternoon's main event.
A lengthy Saturday afternoon's main event too. We got that overrun.
14-minute overrun as well. That look, it happened. But I'm okay with it. Peeps, it was a great Saturday with you, my friend. As always, I appreciate it for you going ahead and putting in the time and effort to go ahead and be here and do as you do, only as the Peeps Nate would do. So we appreciate you on that. Shout out to Mr. 411. Because, of course, my friend, even if you're not here currently, you're always here in spirit because you always go ahead and deliver the last of the good times for us, which allow us to keep going and deliver it ourselves as well. So shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to all the fans, the listeners, the people who go ahead and tune in, the people who watch on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, the individuals who go ahead and like, share, and repost our stuff on social media. We appreciate the love. We thank you. And most definitely, we will see you next week for episode 36. Enjoy Forbidden Door. Enjoy Heatwave. But of course, this was Saturday afternoon's main event. We're at a phenomenal one.
And for Mr. 411, Christopher Morton, I'm the Peeps Nate, where we came.
We saw.
And in the words of the Oracle Paul Heyman,
send them home, peeps.
We conquered!
It never gets old. We conquered, ladies and gentlemen. See you next week for episode 36. This was Sane. I'm the phenomenal one. This is the Peeps Nate. Peace, love, farewell.